My father beat me throughout my childhood. He wasn't a raging drunk or an antisocial outcast. He just thought it was the right thing to do. It wasn't until I was around 15 that I found the courage to ask, why? After all, it's hard for me to imagine a child doing something so terrible that it would cause someone much larger and stronger to stay. My father said, "It's barely enough to kill you, and I'm just teaching you." That day, I'd brought home a C in physics. For the trimester, 3 B's, 1 C, and the rest were A's. My father said, "Bring me the belt." Before, I would obediently bring that cursed belt. But that day, I said, "No." Do they beat you at work for your mistakes or lack of effort? That day, my father beat me with special zeal, left me black and blue. So you'll know better than to talk back to your father. I was always afraid of him, just afraid. I didn't love him. But of course, I pretended to be the dutiful, loving daughter. What else could I do? His favorite saying was, "I should start beating you every Saturday, just to keep you in line." And until I was 24, while I still lived under his roof, you know that phrase, "as long as you live in my house," I was afraid to come home on Saturdays. From school, from work, I believed. I was sure that sooner or later, he'd start hitting me. Why am I remembering all this now, at 45? I'm a grown woman. I have a loving husband and 2 children. A good job. I've been helping my parents financially for a long time. But a month ago, my father had a stroke. My mother sprang into action. "Come over. Help clear out the room. You need somewhere to live. You're not going to travel across the city every day." Yes. They decided I would leave my family and move back in with my parents to take care of and spoon-feed my partially paralyzed father. My mother, I said for 2 weeks, we argued. More precisely, she called to yell at me. I listened. I asked if she had anything concrete to say. No? And how will you look him in the eyes, you ungrateful child? And "I'd love to see how your kids put you in a nursing home," were frequent refrains. I'm writing this, and my eyebrow has started twitching. My nervous tick is back. We fed you, clothed you, and educated you. I grew up in the 90s. We lived off the garden, where I worked like a mule alongside the adults all through childhood. Treating the after effects, a damaged spine and female issues, still cost me a fortune. I went to school on a scholarship. What did my parents give me? Existential terror of men. I love my husband. And he's a kind, gentle man. But he doesn't know that every time he raises his voice, I flinch. Not at me, just in general. He drops something and curses, and I jump, waiting to be hit. Scanning the room, my mind races. What did I do wrong? Did I hang the toilet paper the wrong way? Not sweep the floor? Leave a dirty spoon on the table? Crumbs from bread? It only lasts seconds. Just a reflex. But it's with me forever. Therapy and medication don't help. Today, the nursing home staff informed me that they picked up my father from the hospital. He was transported by a private ambulance. My presence wasn't needed. I set up an automatic payment in my bank app. My mother called. She yelled something along the lines of, "Will you send me there too? Just try asking me for help with the kids again." I laughed nervously. They never really helped me anyway. Did they demand grandchildren? Yes. Just like everyone else. But did they look after them? Sometimes they'd have them over, but only when the kids were already in school and didn't need constant supervision. What do I feel? Shame. I feel like a terrible daughter. And shame because I'm a grown woman with a stable life who's still afraid of her father, even though he can't lift a hand, let alone hit. He can't even lift a spoon. But I'm terrified of the absurd thought that one day he'll come to me. And pain. Because I dearly love the idea of a father. You know, that abstract father from a picture. The one who throws you in the air, who takes you by the hand to school, blows on your scraped knees, says, "Don't cry, we'll figure it out," when you come to him with your problems. The father I never had. If you're raising a child and thinking, "I was beaten and I turned out fine." No, you didn't turn out fine. You either grew up to be as much of a monster as my father, or as broken as I am.